Hello. Now we are going to look at how we would multiply two brackets together. So if I have a bracket with several terms in it multiplied by a bracket with several terms in it, if I effectively have two different expressions multiplied together, how would I deal with that situation? Well, as always, we're going to go back to what we already know. So we already know what it means to have a term, like 2, multiplied by our bracket. So if I have 2 of this bracket, if I have 2 multiplied by 6x plus 1, that means I'm going to have 2 of each thing inside the bracket. So I have 2 of 6x and I have 2 of 1. So I'd be able to say that I had 2 6x's and I have 2 1's plus 2 1's. I'd be able to multiply that out. 2 by 6 by x is going to be 2 by 6 is 12 times x is 12x, and 2 by 1 is 2. So I'm able to say that if I have 2 multiplied by this bracket, it means I've got 2 of this bracket. So I'd have 2 of each thing that would be inside the bracket. We can abstract that a little bit by saying I could have x of this bracket. So I could have x of the bracket, or of the expression, 2x plus 15. So I'd have x of the 2x and x 15s. So that would mean I would have x of the first term plus x of the second term. And in total I'd have x by 2 by x. Well, I have 1x times 2, so I'm going to have 1 by 2 is 2. X by x would be x squared. And then I have 1x times 15 is going to give me 1 by 15 is 15 by x is 15x. And that's as far as I can go because I have x squareds and x's. I can't add those terms together because they're not like terms. So that's as far as I can go with both of those. Now I can use the same type of reasoning. I can extend that type of reasoning if I have two things multiplied together like this. So what I'm going to do is start reading left to right, as we usually do. So I'm going to say I have this expression multiplied by this expression. So I have this many of this bracket. So I have, just the same way as I had 2 of this bracket, I'm now going to say I have this many of this bracket. So reading left to right as we normally do. And what I'm going to say is that I have x plus 2 of this bracket. So I have x of this bracket and I have 2 of this bracket. X of the second bracket and 2 of the second bracket. So I can write that down. I can say I have x of the second bracket and I also have 2 of the second bracket plus 2. It's very important that we keep writing in our symbols in between. We're adding up all of these things. We have x of this stuff plus 2 of all of this stuff. And now we're back to what we already know. We know how to multiply out when we have just a term in front of a bracket. It means we have x of each thing inside the bracket. So we'd have x of 4x, x plus 1, and then more easy to think about, we have 2 4x's and 2 1's. So we start to multiply that out as we already know how to do. We have x of 4x's and we have x 1's. And we continue on because we have more multiply to do. We have 2 4x's, so plus 2 4x's and plus 2 1's, 2 units. So when we've multiplied all of that out, now we can start to do our terms type multiply. So we have x times 4 times x. Well, that means I have 4 times x would be x squared. I have 2 x's multiplied together. And then I have x times 1. Well, that just means 1 of x. And I can write a 1 in there if I want to. and I have plus 2 by 4 by x would mean that I have do your numbers first. So 2 by 4 is 8 times x. And I have plus 2 by 1 would just be 2 units. And then I see, do I have any like terms that I can add up? And I do. I have an x and an 8x that I can add up. I have 4x squared. They're already gathered together, so I don't need to rewrite them. I have 1x plus 8x. In total, I have 9 x's plus 2 units. And that's as far as I can go. My highest power is on the left, so I have x squared and then x and then a constant. So they're in the right order. And I've added up all of my like terms. X squared and x are not the same thing because I have x times x is what x squared means, which would be different to just x by itself. So that's as far as I can go. There's no more simplifying to do. So let's try and follow that argument again. So I have my bracket here, 2x minus 6, multiplied by 5x minus 3. So what am I able to do here? I'm able to say I have 2x of my second bracket, and I have minus 6 of my second bracket. I can use my lines to help me picture what I have to do, but the argument is I'd have 2x of this minus 6 of this. Very much the same type of reasoning as we used before. So I can multiply that out, and I have 2x of my second bracket minus 6 of my second bracket. And multiplying that out, I have 2x of 5x plus 2x of minus 3 minus 6 of 5x minus 6 of minus 3. And sometimes you'll have to go on to a second line with this. Just be as neat as you can, but it can get quite wide when you're doing this multiplying out. So I have 2 by 5 is going to give me plus 10. X times x would be x squared. I have two x's multiplied together, so I write that little 2 up there. Plus 2 by minus 3 is going to give me minus 6. I do my numbers first, then times x. And then I have minus 6 times plus 5 times x. So that's going to be minus 6 by plus 5 is going to be minus 30 times x is minus 30x. Minus 6 times minus 3, well, minus times minus is going to give me a plus. Multiplied together, the minus is giving me a plus. 6 times 3 is 18. And then I say, do I have any like terms? And I do. Again, they're my middle terms. They're already grouped together. So for my final answer, I'm going to write down my highest power of x first, which it already was. And then minus 6x minus 30x. Well, I start at minus 6, and I get colder. I go down by 30 groups of x. So I end up down at minus 36x plus 18 units. And that's as far as I am able to go. So that is my multiplying out. We're going to do one more quick example of this just to give more examples of the pattern. So I have 9 minus m of m plus 2. So I have 9 of this bracket minus m of this bracket. So I can put in my symbol to remind myself of that. I have 9 of this bracket, and I'm subtracting away m of that bracket. So I end up with 9 of my second bracket minus m of my second bracket. So I end up with 9 times m plus 9 times 2. So I should put in what I'm doing. 9 of the first thing, 9 of the second thing, minus m of the first thing, minus m of the second thing. So I have minus m of m minus m of 2. And I end up with 9m. 9 by 2 is 18. Minus m times m would be minus m squared. Minus m times 2, minus 1 effectively times 2 is minus 2 times m. And I have a little bit of tidying up to do. I want to put my highest power first, and I also want to group together my like terms. So I have my highest power, and I have my two m's, my like terms. So I have minus m squared going first, and then I group together my like terms. I have a plus 9m minus 2m, and I have my 18 units on the end. And now I can add together my like terms. So I have minus m squared plus 9m minus 2m would leave me with 7m plus 18. Now I come to here and I say I can multiply this. I have 3 terms in my first bracket, which wouldn't be a problem, but because I just say I had 6 of the second bracket minus 3m of the second bracket plus 2 of the second bracket. So I could do this by just multiplying it all out, but I notice that I actually have something that would make my life a little bit easier. I can add up the stuff that's in the bracket. I have 2 like terms there. I have 6 and 2. So what I'm actually going to do is tidy that up before I do anything else. And this is an important habit to be in. So 6 plus 2, actually generally put the highest power of a letter first. So I'm actually going to put the minus 3m first. It won't make a difference, but it's better practice to always put the highest power first. So I group my like terms together in my bracket. And I add them together. So I have minus 3m plus 8 on m minus 2. And now I can multiply all of that out. I have minus 3m of my second bracket plus 8 of my second bracket minus 3m of m minus 2 plus 8 of the bracket m minus 2. And add all of that up. Minus 3m of m minus 3m of minus 2 plus 8 of m plus 8 of minus 2. So I have minus 3m squared. Minus by minus is a plus. 3 by 2 is 6m plus 8m. Minus, plus by a minus would be minus. 8 by 2 is 16. I now have my highest power first, and I have 2 like terms sitting next to each other. So I'm going to say I have plus 6m plus 8m would be a total of 14m minus 16. That's as far as I can go. I have no more like terms. Here I have c minus 3 of this second bracket, but this second bracket has 3 terms in it, but this time there's nothing I can add up. So I just say I have c of my second bracket minus 3 of my second bracket. I do everything exactly as I have been doing before. Remember, this can get quite long. So I have c of my second bracket minus 3 of my second bracket. And then I just start to multiply everything out exactly the same way. So I have c of each of these things minus 3 of each of these things. So I have c on c squared plus c on 2c plus c of minus 4 minus 3 c squareds minus 3 on 2c minus 3 of minus 4, and just fit everything. So I end up with c times c is c cubed plus c times 2c would be plus 2c squared plus c times minus 4 would be minus 4c. Minus 3 times c squared would be 3c squared. Minus 6c plus 12, and I add up my like terms, and I get minus c squared minus 10c plus 12. And that's what we need for now.